This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Trace James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Adam Upper is here to chat with me about the battle between heaven and hell for the souls of mankind and honor, obedience, and love in the mythic Far East with Constantine and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Welcome!
Hello, I am back.
Yes, you are. Welcome.
Yes.
You enjoy these kinds of weird...
Yes, that's why I chose this one, because it was Constantine and I wanted a reason to watch it again, because another podcast I listened to, Dr. DC, have been talking about doing a commentary track for it, and I've been bugging them, and I was trying to do like the twofer, and then it didn't work. So, but again, it was a good reason to watch this again, because it had been a while.
But do you really need an excuse to watch Constantine?
No, not really, but like it was like on my to-do list. I was like, I need to watch it again, and never did. And I'm like, might as well choose this one and actually do it this time.
Yeah, as a person who still pays for TV, I know I'm old school, whatever. Like Constantine's actually regularly on TV, surprisingly. So I actually watch this movie pretty often. But one thing I've actually started doing with this podcast is that if I know a movie's going to be within like 6 months to a year, I see it on TV or something, I will, no matter how much I want to, I am not watching it. Because I just want like an empty brain for it, you know what I mean?
Just for when you go and actually watch it?
Yeah, so then like I pick up on those nuances and maybe those things I hadn't seen before and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because if you're doing this and trying to take notes like how we usually do, you're just kind of like half-actually watching it and doing other stuff. And like how we'll talk about later with Crouching Tiger, it took me like 4 times to watch this movie. And so you could just... let go of the mind is actually watch. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, so it turns out both of us have the same version of the DVD, right?
Because I actually, when I went to go try and find it like a couple months ago, like the place I went to was like the regular and the special edition or whatever. So I'm like, what's that? And they're like, it comes with a comic book. I'm like, I want that one. And,
it's called the 2-disc deluxe edition.
Yeah, the deluxe edition. Yeah, so and actually one of the comics is the one where he actually finds out where he has cancer. So like it kind of works in with the whole thing. And I didn't get a chance to read the rest of them yet, but it's a good thing if you haven't actually read the comics or whatever.
Yeah, what's actually really funny about it? So if you don't know, actually a lot of people found out much later that Constantine is actually based on a comic book. Called Hellblazer. Yeah. And when the movie first came out, I knew it was a comic book movie, but I'd never heard of Hellblazer. I never read it, anything like that.
Yeah, same here.
So I've actually still never read a Hellblazer comic book. And when I took this DVD out, I was like, why is this thing so heavy? And I saw there was a comic book in here. I'm like, I should read that comic book. Yeah. I did not read the comic book. I just ran out of time, really. That's all it was. Yeah. And from the looks of it, though, it's very wordy and very heavy, so it'll actually take effort to read. It's not like some of those comic books where it's just like a bunch of pictures and people punch somebody and you're done.
Yeah, they may learn a lesson or two or something, Yeah, because originally when he came out, he was part of Swamp Thing and with Alan Moore.
Oh, I did not know that.
So you can imagine what that was like, and with that, it was like a good part in the Swamp Thing where he finds out that he's an elemental, and part of he has to deal with the part of the trees and all that stuff. He wasn't just like Holland in the Swamp Thing. He's actually just has the memories. He's a whole other thing. Now, other than like say like Spider-Man, we just get bitten by a spider and has powers. Yeah, it's like totally different. Okay. So and then Constantine comes in and actually tells him all that stuff, and actually because Constantine, I haven't read all of it. But that's the thing. Constantine knows a lot more about what Swamp Thing is than he does.
Yes. Sort of thing. Well, because when he became Swamp Thing, he lost his like memory, and he was like, "Who am I? What's going on?" Then he took up like a cause, right? Yeah.
So and then with that, he has to deal with like that. It's the pulling the trees and dealing with all the greenery in the world and stuff. So he's kind of trying to protect the world. Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. So you obviously know way more about Constantine than I do. Since I haven't read the book, and really my only exposure to it is this movie, maybe one episode of the short-lived TV show, and one episode of, what's it called? Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow, actually.
He joined their little team.
Yeah, because after the one season of the show, like he kind of picked up the DC, the CW verse, picked him up, and it was the same character and everything.
Yeah.
And because it was on ABC, he didn't really have the whole smoking thing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a big chunk of who he is, because he's dying and he's trying to redeem himself and everything. Because Keanu kind of shows in this movie, but he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, so, but he's kind of supposed to be.
But he's like usually guys, but he's usually a little worse than most of the guys, and so because he's usually looking out for himself mostly. Yeah. But then, so I think the TV show showed that a little more. Yeah. Than the movie, because I think there's only a couple times where he ran to Rachel Weisz and was like, didn't hold the elevator and something else. He was kind of a dick sometimes, but
he didn't hold the elevator. Then he pushed past her when they met at the church to see the bishop. And then there was also the part where she finds out who he is and she shows up at his place, and then she's like, he tells her what horrible things happened to her sister in hell, and that's just what happens. And she actually says, "God damn you," which I think was great. But he's also shown to be kind of mean to, what is it, Father Hennessy. He's not very nice to him as well.
Because he has to look into the ether and stuff like
that.
So he kind of shows it, but I feel the movie didn't quite hit it as much.
Well, I think with how, there's actually a lot in this movie. Yeah. There's a lot. So, of course, there's, the whole thing with the Spear of Destiny, getting it from, it was in Mexico for some reason, Mexico to LA, showing an introduction about Rachel Weisz and her sister, an introduction to him, Chaz Kramer, Dr. Midnight, Balthazar, Angel Gabriel, and, the whole mythos between heaven and hell and all that kind of stuff.
Pack it into 2 hours.
Yeah, and I think they actually do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, no, I remember when the movie first came out, it was kind of in the screw Keanu phase, really. It kind of it wasn't as bad as what Ben Affleck went through, but because he kind of had a few quote unquote bad movies.
Yeah, but this was his first big thing after The Matrix.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
yeah, because he went completely opposite. He did Sweet November.
Yeah, that's what
all
I'm saying.
Those cheesy.
Yeah, it's still decent enough movies. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was quote unquote screw Keanu stuff. Yeah. So he kind of came back, and then with this, because he didn't look like Constantine, because Constantine is just in the comics is a rip off of Sting.
Yes.
And visually and stuff, which I'm not really one of those guys that usually, because a comic book guy is has to be exactly look at this stuff. And because I didn't see that, I didn't read the comic book initially. It didn't bother me. But
me neither.
But I remember that being a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And actually, then I really like the movie, and this is one of those things that leads me to actually want to do that. Yeah. And with now you mentioned Dr. Midnight, I was thinking that through the entire movie, I was waiting for him to say, "Who?" because he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. And
but that came.
I know, but I didn't know that, so I didn't think that then. But I was rewatching. I was just I know, I like this guy.
Yeah, Djimon Hounsou is actually really great. It's just I think he's a surprisingly underrated actor, but he also tends to pick a really weird combination of films most of the time. Some of them are really bad. Some of them are just super cheesy. And then there's that handful that you're just why don't you do this all the time? You are good. You're amazing. Do this.
Because he was in Blood Diamond too, I think, wasn't he?
He was in Blood Diamond. He was in Amistad. He was in oh my god, right now I can't even name off more movies he's in. But my biggest problem is that his roles are often so small that he's easy to forget. But when you watch the movie, he also is one of the best characters in the movie.
Yeah, he's also always really good.
Yeah, so Dr. Midnight is just such a standout character, but you always forget it's Djimon Hounsou, and you're like, okay, that's why it's good. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to attempt saying his name because every time I can't even say it right. So
it's okay.
Yeah, so what is it again?
It's Djimon Hounsou.
Djimon Hounsou?
Yeah,
okay.
If I'm not screwing it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to do that again. I'm going to butcher his name, and I don't want to do that.
Yes.
That's mean.
Yeah, I'm horrible with names as well. So,
are you religious at all, or like that way? Like,
I personally am not really religious, but I did grow up as a Catholic. I went to Catholic school and all that kind of stuff.
So you probably know about the Spirit Destiny had didn't really have like set powers. It was kind of weird because like
no, the Spirit Destiny doesn't have powers. It was just used in this because it had the blood of Christ on it.
But after dude picked it up, he like got hit by the car and it was like invincible.
No, that more had to do with the devil.
Oh, okay.
Or the devil's the devil's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes
so
sense.
it's all about like the demons are controlling him, and they were when he like cradled it and something whispered in his ear. And when he died, he was able to be possessed.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
That's what happened.
Yeah, because my only thing with the Spirit Destiny is from the game Wolfenstein. And
yes.
They kind of reference it, but of course it's like a 92 like first person shooter. But
I mean,
so that's my only other thing. I'm like, I know that's a thing, but beyond that, I'm like,
but it goes back to the Nazis taking all of the stuff that were part of the occult, right?
Yeah, because it says that right at the beginning of the movie. It's been lost since World War II. Like that, but, like, and
then he finds it and it's wrapped in a swastika flag.
I know, and because you said it was in Mexico, it always makes me think of like the 2 or 3 times I watched in the last like month. Just so I remember, like it starts off in Mexico. It always made me think of Spider-Man: Far From Home. I'm like, did I start the wrong movie? Because it starts off in Mexico, like for a split second, I'm like, no, wait, right movie.
No, it's the right movie. It's another comic book movie, but it's the right movie.
I know.
This is one of the few times DC made a good comic book movie.
I really enjoyed it. Because it was like right after, like a few years after when like X-Men and like Spider-Man and all that came out. Yeah.
Well, this is DC, so I'm talking about like Superman Returns and stuff. Like Superman Returns was so bad.
I think that was 2006. I want to say
something like that. Yeah.
But it's definitely one of the better ones that they've done.
And definitely not any of the new ones are any better. No. Yeah. It actually kind of upsets me that they've done so bad with it because I actively want to like their movies. Yeah. Because I like their comic books. The stories are there. Sure, after 80 years or whatever, some of your stories aren't the greatest, but there's so much stuff to work with, and they just keep doing crap. And I'm like, how is this possible? Like, you can open a comic book, it is literally like storyboarded for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good to go. Yeah, you're good to go, and they're not doing it. Yeah. So
because you can ignore some of the sillier stuff and go for the pick and choose, but
But I'm also one of the problems why they're making all these bad movies because I want to like them, so I go and I watch them, and then I have to complain about it. So that's just what happens.
But I still need to finish the TV show. But he was really good on Legends of Tomorrow, though. So I was I know. Like if you're thinking of Arrow, I actually watched I think 5 episodes when Legends of Tomorrow started, and I really tried to like it. I'm like, I'll do this. Yeah, but just like most shows, like the first season's kind of rough, and then the second season, I know they got sick through the first one, but they kind of found its footing, and because they kind of embraced that they knew it was weird, and just kind of ran with it.
Well, that's what they did with the Marvel one. Oh my god, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The first season was so bad, but all they were doing was waiting for Winter Soldier to come out, and then they had a connection, and then it became good. Yeah. And then, of course, it turned into just a cluster of nonsense at the end. But
I was trying to watch it to the end, and I think I watched like 2 episodes into like season 6, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
That's the time travel one, right?
Where it's the other Coulson. It was like after he...
Oh, yes! I tried watching that too, and I was like, I can't do this.
I want to see what happened, but I'm like, I can't.
Just don't care. I had been waiting for the show to come back, actually, and I just recently found out it was canceled.
Well, so it was probably after season 6.
So
they
have nowhere else to go. Stop bringing back Coulson, do something else, or bring them back into...
Or let them actually... talk about everyone else. Yeah. Not just be like, hey, we know people, wink wink.
Yeah, we can't do anything. Who are you talking about? The guy in the suit. You're just like, come on, just say it. Just, you want to say it. Just say it. Yeah. So, but we kind of know why they're not doing it. They can't afford those people to show up.
You don't even need them to show up. You just be like, hey, remember that time I was hanging out with Captain America and met him? I'm not really sure if this was actually part of like one of the comic book stories or if it was actually standalone for the movie. Do you know?
I actually have no idea. Like I said, I hadn't read any of the comic books. I didn't really look into the character that much. Yeah. Once I found out who he was and what he did, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Nothing in the comic books ever really drew me to it personally. So the movie was enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that it's bad or anything. Like, I actually thoroughly enjoy the movie still. Yeah. I like where it goes. I like the characters. I like how they build and end the story. Tilda Swinton as Gabriel is one of the best pieces of casting ever. Yeah, I really do. Because she's so hermaphroditic. Like, I hope that's not an insult to her or whatever, but it's because angels aren't supposed to really have a sex, right? Yeah. So the reason why she's perfect is she could be either.
Very androgynous,
you know?
And sometimes, like, not all the time, but like some girls that can pull it off, like, I really dig. Like, just with like anything, like a hairstyle or anything.
Yeah.
And she, I really dig it.
And she pulls it, and she pulls it off, right? And like her in, like, I find with every single role she does, no matter how cheesy it is, she gives it, and she gives it in this. And you're just like, this is so good. Yeah. So I loved her in this. And then Shia LaBeouf shows up. This is before everybody hated him, and he just did small characters and stuff. Yeah, and I was reading up on that, and like the reason why he was in this movie because his character isn't from the comics is because he was on iRobot, and Will Smith was like, to whoever was directing was like, hey, he was really good in this. I love him, so give him a role or whatever. Oh, really?
Give him a bone sort of thing, and shows up. And that was before he really went crazy and did like the just do it.
Yeah, I mean, he had like a proper rise in his career. Right?
Before whatever happened.
Yeah, because he did like Holes. He was in an episode of The X-Files. He did, he did this. He did iRobot. Yeah. Like, it was a whole bunch of like small little roles where he'd jump in, and you're just like, I like you as the sidekick. This is great.
Yeah, it definitely works.
And then as soon as Transformers hit, you're just like, can you go away? I can't.
Yeah,
I can't do this.
Yeah, then the last Indiana Jones happened. It's not. It's not his fault that it happened.
It's not just his fault.
It's not his fault he got cast, but that just the movie itself kind of
everything about it was horrendous.
Yeah.
People are just like, oh, we gotta watch all of the Indiana Jones. And like, the 3 movies? There's 4. No, 3 movies.
I know, that's like, I think you were mentioning that in one of the further episodes. Yeah, I'm like, it's definitely.
That's about right,
Exactly,
but I heard they might actually be trying to make another one, and I'm like, please stop doing this.
Yeah, he's like Harrison's like, what, like almost 80? And like he doesn't have the energy to be Indiana Jones anymore, so unless they do this and actually just be like, he was like Sean Connery in Last Crusade. It was just kind of he was the sidekick instead, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that could work, but if that's the case, just let it be.
Just let it be. Just let it be over. Stop trying to ruin things. Yeah. I'm okay with all of this.
Yeah. Or just have like an Indiana Jones like character, but not just him. It has to be him.
Yes. Well, I saw what was it? Somebody pretty much asked him who does he see as like the next Indiana Jones, and he's like, there is no other Indiana Jones. Once I die, the character dies. Like, that is it. Yeah. And tell you the truth, I was like, I was so happy he said that. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. See what you do. Just leave it alone. Yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just like let the Uncharted movie finally happen and kind of pass it off to him, because it's kind of the same sort of idea, sort of thing, that the one with Tom Holland that's been trying to go off for the last couple of years.
Which one? Sorry?
It's Uncharted. It's like based on
the video game. Yeah.
Which I'd probably have the same. You could pretty much be the Indiana Jones movie, just call it Uncharted, and be that, and just kind of have that sort of movie off instead. And just,
like, they just. My biggest problem with movies today is that you can make whatever you want, and it could resemble whatever you want. But just stop making it, quote unquote, the same thing and trying to fit it into the same world. Yeah. If it's something else, it's something else. Just let it be.
Yeah, because like the whole reboots and everything, it's kind of works, but like doesn't have to do it for.
But it's getting boring.
Yeah, and that's why I like the Kevin Smith movie reboot. Jay's not about reboot. Yeah. It's kind of was like a reboot and a remake, but he was kind of making fun of them at the same time. So I kind of dig that. And plus, I'm a Kevin Smith fan, so
Yeah, I feel bad. I haven't seen it yet.
No, it's legit. They really had like a really small theater release, and I think it's out on video now. But yeah, same sort of thing. Like obviously, he did it, but it was also tongue in cheek, so that sort of thing I dig. But just if not, just
just let it go. Just let it be. Just let it be. Anyway, so I guess we should actually get back to talking to Constantine.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it was funny. Like when they were at the beginning when he found the thing, like what were they digging for? They were just kind of digging through gravel, and then all of a sudden he's like,
I think they're just poor people looking for stuff. Oh, that's what it seemed like.
I know, that's what I was always.
Because the other guy was like pulling, like he had just like a bunch of bottles or something. So
that's the first thing that came up. I'm like, they're just doing that. Then all of a sudden he sees a hole and digs it, and then takes off. Yeah. And then then you see Constantine, and he actually comes up, and it's just kind of like a homage or whatever to the Exorcist movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and same story. Where like the mom sees like the kid in the corner, like up in the air, and then when he gets there, he actually kind of. The demon tries to get out and punch him in the face. Yep. And then actually, like, the old man, like, last week was watching Exorcist, and I just kind of came out, and then they see the priest, like, fighting just, like, they give him, I'm like, oh, that's just, like, kind of, that's where I haven't seen The Exorcist in so long that I would never have made that connection. And as I said, I wouldn't have remembered that if I just hadn't legitimately seen it. Like, I just happened to walk out to go to the bathroom or grab a drink or something. I'm like, oh, that's
the scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then that's where you kind of see like meet Constantine begin with and know that he's kind of an exorcist sort of thing, and then that's where you meet Shia LaBeouf when he's kind of talking himself in the car. Mm-hmm. And they're good intros to characters too. Like you get like a solid feel of what the characters are. Like Constantine is surly and he smokes a lot. Chaz Kramer, he's a chatterbox who really wants to get in, but he's not there yet. So it's just Shia LaBeouf, not as a dig, but Shia LaBeouf being Shia LaBeouf in the movie. So so he kind of works. So I think they kind of wrote it for him, but totally works.
I think it's enjoyable. He doesn't come off as like obnoxious.
He's not like
or anything.
He's not like this guy or anything. But it's so I definitely So like they're one of the roles where they kind of make it for somebody and it actually works well. So I like it.
Yeah, it really works. And I actually like the visual style of the movie as well. You know, it's surprisingly vibrant colors throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's not like super bright or anything.
Yeah, like it's got like because usually like movies like this are always like muted to have that like that oppressive feel of domination and destruction and blah blah blah.
And like evil because I'm in the devil.
Yeah. But I think it's a really it's got like such like beautiful shots to it. Like the part where Constantine first goes to his apartment and he opens the shutters and you just see down the hall and all the shutters open and whatever. Stuff like that's just great.
Yeah, or the shot like where it's the twin, like the Rachel is the one that dies obviously at the beginning, where she like goes up at the top of the roof and then jumps off, and actually is the shot from like inside the pool. Yeah, you see her hit the glass and then go in the pool. That was a really nice shot.
That's a really nice shot. And the other one that of note is the part where all the lights are going out and they're on the street because the demons are coming from her, and it's just like there's a religious store and it's Mary and it's like lights, and as it fades and they're just in the little bit of light or whatever.
The one light, and then I like the shot where she pulls out her gun.
Yes,
and she's like, it's not going to help. That one part shows up because it's like really nice, up a little bit, and she just kind of pulls it out. One of the few shots that actually still sticks in your head,
right? Yeah.
Because obviously we're both in television, video, film sort of thing. Yeah, so I guess we kind of look for that thing more than.
Yeah, like I find a lot of movies either don't set up shots well, or like because like there's a lot of movies where it's like all the shots are just straight on people doing stuff.
Yeah, like or like don't really have like the little cutaways or anything like that.
Yeah,
like set up shots or whatever.
Yeah, so you don't get that like connection. You're always just like
like static shots or anything.
It can be really frustrating. Yeah. What did you think of Rachel Weisz as? What was her character name again?
I know I should have written it down, but I'm always bad with names. I like her, because because they went through the whole thing that her sister, the one that died, was always the one that was saying like, hey, I can see things, all this stuff, just kind of like what Constantine is. Same sort of idea, and now they end up.
So based on the comics you've read of Hellblazer, is she a character in the Hellblazer books or no?
In what I've read, no, but that doesn't mean that she isn't. But yeah, because obviously I very very little of Constantine I've read, so like not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So, but I think Midnight is, and obviously Gabriel is because
the angels and the demons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But so I started looking at that, but I didn't.
I must admit, Gavin Rossdale as Balthazar was. Like, he has the visual look that works, but as soon as he starts to talk, you're just like, this is not working.
Yeah, that's one thing I like. But I also like the little coin trick that he does, but I can't do it backwards. I can do it like the
one way.
The one way, but the thing I have like a two-faced coin in my wallet that I try and do it, but I can't do it backwards, and he's cheating as a smaller one. Oh, I can't do it.
Okay.
But yeah, the same sort of thing is. I'm like, hey, I recognize that guy, and then you start talking like, That's my disapproval noise.
Yeah. The guy who plays Father Hennessy. Hold on.
I recognize him. He was in Identity. That's where I recognize him from.
Yeah.
He was like the serial killer guy that at the beginning, then they kind of then they're at the motel and they realize that it's all in his head is like some different like character, like not characters, whatever, like personalities in his head, and they're all dying off, and then it's actually it just turns out it's all in his head, and he's like right before he gets executed or something.
So I've never seen Identity.
Yeah, so that's only that I remember offhand. I reckon.
Yeah,
but he could be in other stuff. Probably.
He's in tons of stuff.
Yeah, I figured.
He was in like I remember him from Titanic as well. He was in there.
I haven't seen Titanic. I actively avoid watching that movie.
Oh, that's fine. Tell you, I was about to be like, oh my god, what? But actually, that's totally fine.
Because honestly, we know what happens at the end.
Yeah, but it's.
Sorry, I had to say that. Sorry.
It's true. But when that movie came out, it was such a phenomenon. Yeah. And I remember seeing that movie in the theater. I think I saw it 4 times in the theater. Once because I wanted to. 3 times because my friend insisted that I should, and she would pay for my ticket because she wanted to see it again.
Fine, I guess.
Yeah, but that's like, what is it? 4 times. That's 12 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of time not to get back. So I don't know.
But I do kind of want to see it though because has Billy Zane in it, and I like really like Billy Zane. Mm-hmm. So I imagine he's probably fairly Billy Zane-y in that movie. And
oh yeah.
So I think that might be the only draw for it, but still, I don't. Again, it's like 3 hours long, and I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and then that's the thing, right? So the guy's name is Pruitt Taylor Vince, and the reason why I know him and he's stuck in my brain is from an episode of The X-Files called On Ruby, and he's the one who tries to give Scully a lobotomy.
Okay, I didn't really watch a whole lot of X-Files when it was on because because I think when it first started, like because it was on like Sundays at like.
No, when it first started, it was Fridays at 9 p.m.
But yeah, like I think by the time I started knowing about it was on Sundays and like, really late, and then at the time of my life, and the parents were like, "You need to go to bed for school." So I got I only saw a couple episodes, and obviously one of the ones was the hillbillies that like
Home.
Obviously like one of the ones that stuck out, and like the guy that was like the little stretchy guy that was on the escalator.
Stretch, and
then like a couple other things, but I didn't really watch.
And that's like season 1.
Because he shows up like twice. He shows up twice.
Yes.
And then the other one that sticks out is the guy that had like brain cancer or something like that, and he can it made him kind of psychic or something, or telekinetic or something.
He had cancer,
or he had something in his like something brainy that is like a tumor or cancer in his brain, and it was pushing on something so he could be kind of psychic. So then they caught him, so he was in the back of a cop car. It made there was like a transfer trailer truck coming.
I know exactly what episode you're talking about.
He made the
cerulean blue. Yeah.
Yeah, he made the cop not see it, so he drives out and he ran away. Those are really handful of episodes I kind of remember. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of obsessed with the X-Files. I know I talk a lot about Star Trek, but I'm kind of obsessed with the X-Files as well.
It's legit.
It's fine. But so the episode of the X-Files that he was on really stuck in my brain because he was so creepy
Yeah,
in it. Yeah. So anytime he shows up in anything, no matter what character he's playing, I automatically have like a heart flutter, like, oh my god.
Leave my brain alone.
Exactly. Yeah, so when I saw him in this and like the character he plays and stuff, like I know he's not really a bad guy or anything, but he still comes across like so creepy.
Yeah, you just have that in your head and you're just like, oh, I don't like this.
But also, he has a great power. Like, touch the newspaper and things are read to you. Yeah. Like, I need that to go back to school and have that power. Just touch the textbook, stuff's in your brain. I'm like, yes, I'm good.
Do you know what that made me just think of? You ever remember the movie it's from like the early 90s? It was Meteor Man?
Yes.
Oh yeah. And like the fight at the end because like they overturned the library truck or whatever that was like driving around, and because of the power you could where the meteor you touch something.
I don't remember that at all.
So they kept on touching weird books, and then one it was like a modeling book, so so the two of them were like doing like catwalky stuff. Yeah, they're like catwalk and all this stuff. They pick up different books and having this weird power because of.
I do not remember that at all.
It's like again, like just like last time I was here, it was one of the movies like when I was a kid I watched like over and over and over again.
Really?
So I have like
I think I maybe saw that movie once when it came out.
Yeah, because
and that was it.
Because there obviously was like kind of making fun of the superhero genre at the time, so it was kind of so I kind of stuck. It was a comedy, so I thought it was funny. So
you stuck with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I said like I only remember like 2 or 3 scenes from it, and but I know it's one of the movies I've been trying to half-assly find somewhere so I can watch it again and see if it holds up. But,
it's got to be available somewhere.
Yeah, probably. But again, though, I always never think of it when I'm at home either. Yeah. That's like just like now. So I'm like that's always usually at home. I'm like I'll forget. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was one of the movies I liked from when I was watching. When I was like growing up, like an early teen that stuck out.
Yeah. No, sometimes that just kind of happens. You don't mean it to happen, but it just happens, right?
So yeah, that totally just made me think of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Meteor Man. Sorry.
Well, I guess that's a movie I'm gonna have to rewatch now.
Yeah, but it does have Bill Cosby in it though, so we'll warn you now. So depending on what your thoughts on him is.
Well, I don't like him.
Yeah.
But
so I'm just.
But honestly, one thing I really want to do just to screw him over is find a copy of Leonard Part 6, make copies, and just give it away to people, and then people can watch this movie again. I know. So me and my brother for a long time thought we were crazy. Like we thought we shared some sort of psychotic dream that this movie existed. But no. Apparently it was made. So anyway. It's a Bill Cosby movie that was supposed to be a parody of like spy films. Okay. And it's just like I don't even know how to describe it. Because it's just like a bunch of like weird stuff happens in the movie. Like there's a part where he sword fights with hot dogs for some reason.
Like the hot dog's a sword, or the hot dog has a sword and he's fighting it.
No, he fights with a hot dog.
Like a big hot dog, or is it regular sized hot dog in there?
Like it's stuff like that. Like it's just random, absolute nonsense. And so apparently, what the story is. Bill Cosby hated it so much that he found like the master copies and all that kind of stuff he destroyed it. Yeah. Right? And if I ever find a copy of that movie.
Yeah, and what's it called again?
It's called, there's only one, but it's called Leonard Part 6.
Oh, Part 6. Okay, Leonard Part. Okay, I'll have to. Leonard Part. I'll have to remember.
Mind you, I haven't tried that hard to find it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But like Googling Leonard Part 6, you'll get like tiny little stories about it being destroyed and disappearing, all that kind of stuff. But you don't really find, like I think I found a trailer once and then it disappeared. That was about it. So, and when I found that, I was just like, it's real!
I didn't make it up.
I didn't make this up, it's real!
I know, I hate it when one of those things you're like trying to explain something that you watch once, and you're like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Because I had that recently too, but I can't remember what it was. I was trying to toss something else, I'm like, that might have known what I was talking about. And I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm like, all right, I'll just lock in my brain, just think about it every so often, and not speak aloud because I'm probably going crazy. But maybe not.
Maybe. There's a time, one day you'll find that one person who's you're talking about, you're like, I'm not crazy, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Constantine, let's get back.
Yeah.
So they find the demon in the thing, and then what happens after that? They go see Gabriel, and then she.
Well, no, they actually go to see a priest.
Oh yeah,
but Gabriel is there talking to them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he used to see the Gabriel, and then she shows up to see the priest. So it was kind of in the same place. Yeah. So so that's where you see. What's her face for the first time?
Rachel Weisz, yes.
No.
Well, no. You see Gabriel for the first time. Yes.
Yeah. What's her face? Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
I totally blanked on your name. I know you're probably not listening to this, but I apologize.
Yeah, you never know. One day.
So that was pretty cool. So that kind of sets up his whole thing where he said he was tried to kill himself as a kid or something.
No, that's not that.
He talks to Rachel Weisz.
He's an ass to her again, and then leaves. And then I think it's the next day she tracks him down.
Oh yeah, shows up.
And then he saves her, and then they go get something to eat, and that's when he tells her.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
And then what's after that? Where do they go? Oh, and then they go to her apartment after, and then proves that that's right before that. What happens right after that?
I know. I was trying to. I wanted to watch Constantine today again, so I wouldn't run to this, but I was trying to watch.
Crouching Tiger.
But yeah, so they.
But anyway, so they go about. They realize that she's a psychic, and Gabriel and the son of the devil, who is. Oh, I forgot the name of the son of the devil. I really need to write these things down. I almost called him Dormammu. No, that's the wrong thing. Anyways. But the son of the devil are trying to make a pact so that the demons from hell can take over the earth. And Gable wants to help them so humans can prove their worth to be to be saved by God. Yeah, that's the gist of the story. And Constantine and Rachel Weisz are out there like, no, people are bad and stuff, but don't kill everybody.
Because Constantine was saying that it's a balance, because at the beginning of the movie he said he tells her, he's like, what if God and the devil made a pact when that's you, and there's no influence or whatever, you can just whisper in their ear and say words or whatever and say this and that, but no direct contact.
Yes. They're not supposed to have direct contact, but that's
they
cheat, of course.
Yeah, so that's where the half-breeds with Gabriel is there and stuff, because he keeps on calling her that.
Yes, half-breed, yeah. But that's like Balthazar as well as a half-breed. That's why he can walk on Earth. Yeah, that's right. At the same time.
Right. Yeah, because after he kills his buddy, she goes there and finds the coin.
Yes. Yeah, at the bowling alley.
Yeah, because
Demon. Yes.
Because he has her in the tub or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, this is how you trying to." I forget what they were trying to do when he's like.
Well, she wanted to see what he saw.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and this was like the crash course.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he's like, need to be fully suspended, and then he kind of.
And that part was actually, I actually love how they threw in a little bit of humor in that part. You know, like she's submerged in the water, and she's like, "It's gonna happen."
Yeah, then she kind of looks at him. And he's just staring at her, and they obviously.
And then she's like tapping her fingers, like, okay, whatever.
Because he didn't tell her that he kind of has to drown her and kind of has to die.
She kind of has to die. Yeah,
for like a second.
Because she wanted a crash course.
So he was like 2 minutes or something like that before and everything. Yeah, so then she was just like gives him a look like, what the fuck? He was just like, hold her down. I'm doing like visual stuff here. I'm like holding her down. Like you see her through the water. He's just like stone face, like stone face.
Yeah. And it's so good. Yeah. It's so good.
Okay, yeah, because it does that, and then she takes off and finds it.
Then she finds the coin, yes. We are happy to find out that there is a Bible in hell. I'm actually really surprised that she was like, what do you mean there's a Bible in hell? A Bible is just a type of book.
Like a history book or kind of thing, I guess. In a way, they go over like.
Define. Let me define.
Because the sister left her a note because he was whole thing after she died. And he's doing the whole twins think alike, all this sort of stuff, and he was kind of another thing being kind of a dick to her, but kind of needed to be to that thing where you find the message. It's Corinthians 21 or something like that, or
27, I think it was. Yeah,
and she's like, it only goes to
19
or whatever,
or something. Yeah,
he's like, then that's what he says, like the Bible in hell.
Yeah, so like a Bible is a book regarded as authoritative in a particular sphere. So I mean, that's why they've got like the Bible of cooking, they got the Bible of whatever, they got the Bible of whatever.
Yeah, obviously, the Bible that is the Holy Bible, I guess. Is
yeah. So I wasn't really that surprised. I mean, Church of Satan has a Bible. I mean.
And now I just have Jay from Clerks 2 in my head. Like, that's the holy fucking Bible, son. Sorry.
I mean, it's true.
There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff in here. Like, you know that Jesus was a Jew? Yeah. Like,
doesn't everybody?
It's like,
but what was kind of cool about it is that when he pulled out the Bible from hell, it was all like, he had to wrap it in a special thing. It was all sticky and gooey, and I was like, ugh. Like, I wouldn't want to touch that. That's gross. Oh, I want to talk about the devil.
Yeah.
I must admit, Peter Stormare,
Stormare, I think.
Stormare, right?
Yeah, he's really good.
I find him fantastic in almost everything he does. But as the devil in this movie, he is superb. Yeah. Like, I just like how nonchalant and creepy and cool he comes across. And he's just like, I'm really gross, I know. It's fantastic. And he's like wearing that white suit, but he's like oozing like this like bile the whole time. But there's like tattoos coming up his neck, and and he just like takes his time because he knows he's supposed to be there, kind of thing.
Yeah, because earlier in the movie, it was always said that he'd come up to take Constantine personally, because obviously, it's Lucifer. He's not going to just do it for anybody. Because Constantine's probably doing what he does. And then I like that at the end because obviously, like it's early on when he's talking to Gabrielle at the beginning, he's trying to doing all these exorcisms and all this stuff, trying to buy his way into heaven pretty much, and because he committed suicide when he was a kid and technically died for like 2 minutes because it's a mortal sin and he was going to hell. And the same thing with Rachel Weisz's twin, I guess it's Rachel Weisz as well. Sort of thing. So that kind of set it up at the end where he said like when he's dying or whatever, he says like something about the sister.
Yeah, he's like, you want me to save your soul? He's like, no, I want you to save her sister. Send her where she belongs.
Because I was told that the main sister twin was saying that because she knew she wouldn't kill herself and the whole mortal sin.
But she killed her. We find out she killed herself because to stop what was happening.
So it was a sacrifice to herself, but because she was already in hell, he sacrificed himself for it. Then was going up to heaven, and that was one of the things that people always kind of bitch at it. He was like kind of giving the finger, which is hilarious. Then he's like, "Oh no, the sacrifice," and just kind of ripped out the cancer. I was like, "Oh, that's so gross, but cool at the same time."
It's kind of gross, but kind of amazing. He's definitely like one of my favorite devils for sure.
Definitely, So and then too, he was in John Wick 2 as well as the guy's brother.
Oh yes, he was.
So they kind of, so I think with that is Keanu was just like, hey, I bring in people I like to work with, and he shows up, and then obviously,
you want to come do some stuff?
Show up for like a minute because it's right at the beginning because he owns that chop shop or whatever, and then he finds out like that's where his car is. And he just kind of shows up and has a drink, and he's like, peace out. I could kill you, but I'm just here for my car.
This is all I'm here for. Everything's good. Yeah. And then they still try to kill him again. So I'm like, you're gonna die now. That's all that's gonna happen.
So that's why I like to show up. I'm like, that's the connection there.
There you go. Yeah. And then that's kind of the end of the movie. I mean, there's some cool stuff. It's kind of great.
Yeah, and then at the beginning of the movie, I like how the logo from Warner Brothers went into the Vertigo stuff, and it was kind of getting blown away.
Yes.
So
that was very cool.
That kind of set up the beginning of the movie too, and how the kind of look and the landscape when he goes into hell and stuff. So, and then too, like at the end where he's like, shows like where he's like going up and trying to. They always made me think of the original poster for Star Wars, where like Luke has a.
Oh, where he's holding a lightsaber and stuff.
It's kind of. It probably wasn't the the idea of it, but it kind of made me, like when I was watching last time, like kind of made me think of that for a second.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
But it's probably not a reference, but it's just I did it in my head because I like Star Wars. So.
But it's the same. I think it's the same kind of visual shape.
Yeah. Because everyone's like kind of it's kind of like a pyramid or whatever, a triangle sort of thing. So and
there's a savior in the middle. Yeah. That's what you need, right? Yeah. So do you still like the movie?
Yeah, actually, I didn't really think I really paid attention to it when I first watched it because like whatever, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a really good movie, and it makes me want to actually read more of Constantine because it's one of the things I'm like, hey, I'll get around to it, and because I'm a big comic collector, I can't fucking read everything. So, but
there's so many comics.
Yeah, but it makes me like I definitely want to read more of it because I said like there was like not this past year, but the year before I picked up like the Swamp Thing Essentials, and I think it started at the issue 21 or 20 something like that, and then went through like it was like 50 issues, and it covered the Constantine stuff, and that's where he started, and then he had his own series and stuff, and because I had that, I'm like, it makes me really want to get into it, right? More, but I know it's as you were saying earlier that it's all but really wordy and stuff, and because I'm a shitty reader and always put it off, but eventually I do want to read more Constantine.
Yeah, my thing with like wordy, like I don't actually have a problem with wordy comic books, but with wordy comic books, you have to get me quick. Yeah. Like you get like a page and a half. You know, I'm like, no, I can't do this. You say the wrong, I'm done. But like, if you get me in that page and a half, I'm like, let's do this. Let's go. And
so I definitely suggest picking up those Swamp Things that he's in it, because they're really good. I think, and plus it's Alan Moore, so it's just he's really heady.
He is. Yeah. He is. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. It's aged really well. Yeah, it still looks really good.
I know that was the one thing I was thinking when I was going to it. Like, this is going to look rough. This might suck. But no, because even like the scenes in Hell where it's just like the demons and stuff. Yeah, they look so gross and and the CG wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh, that's shitty CG. So it makes me want to watch it. So it looked really good. So definitely worth checking out if you
still watch it. It's kind of fantastic. Yeah, and what I like about it too is you don't actually have to know anything about Constantine or Hellblazer to like the movie or get into it. Yeah, because they set him up pretty good everything with it, especially as I said with the cancer and stuff, because that's like a big thing with him. And in the as I said in the ABC show, like for like the 12, 15 episodes, they couldn't let him smoke because it was prime time. But it's like that was one of the first things he said when he went over to Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, he was on the ship for the second. He was like, "Hey, I'm Constantine." Blah blah. He's like, anyone have a smoke? And then went off. Went off her, yeah. Then the rest of that, and I think one of the most recent episodes, they kind of brought in the skin cancer, the lung cancer stuff. It was supposed to be like 10 years down the road, but because of story stuff, they the girl was like, do it right away, and it just kind of hit him right away, and then took it back. But they are dealing with it, so it's in there. Yeah. Yeah, but at least they're showing the consequences to all that smoking, right?
And plus too, I think with Matt Ryan, I think is the guy, Matt Smith, or not Matt Smith. Not Matt Smith. Because that's Doctor Who, but I think it's Matt Ryan, or what I'm saying is looks more like what Constantine, the comic book version of and acts a lot more, probably more. Not saying Keanu was bad, but a lot more true to the character.
But he's all Britishy and
stuff, exactly. Yeah, and that was one thing I didn't have an issue with, because like the kind of like that British accent that Matt Ryan, I would just go say Matt Ryan just because it was like with that kind of English accent could wear easily, and he didn't do a bad job, so it wasn't bad. So I think if Keanu was trying to do like a bad English accent, that would not have worked. So I'm just glad they just kept it as American.
Yeah, good. So I guess that's a good spot to switch over to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Crouching Tiger. Yeah, I know, and that always makes me think of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back at the end, where I know I always have like bad like movie references, like where Justice and Elijah Dushku are fighting at the end. Okay. And they're doing like the different fighting styles, and she's like, blah blah. She's like, I'm gonna beat with my Crouching Tiger. Yeah, I know. Always, every so often, I think I see it the way she says it sets it in my head.
Yeah, it just pops in there.
Yeah, because and again, one of those movies that I've watched so many times. I like, so anything really makes me think of it, I'll say it in my head. Yeah, and because obviously we all know that I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so any reason to think of him.
Yeah, you're down with it, right? Yeah. Well, this movie came out in 2001 for Academy Awards, and people love it.
Yeah, and the one thing with this, like, I kind of regretted initially seeing this because I like Constantine. I remember seeing this in the theater and remember not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I rewatched it, it's actually not bad.
Oh, you didn't like Crouching Tiger initially?
I remember not liking it, but it's just probably because of the subtitles and being a long movie. So it was like I think I was like 19 at the time. So I'm like, screw this movie, but it's actually not bad.
Yeah, I actually remember loving this movie when I saw it in the theater initially, and after watching it this time, I'm just like, it's alright.
Yeah, it's a decent movie,
right.
but I think I probably warmed up to it a bit more than at least from what I remember. Because one of the things I thought I remembered from the movie was like the flashback with Zhang, Ziyi, and the guy
in the desert.
Yeah. I, for some reason, like when I saw it in the theater, I just remember thinking that the flashback was a lot longer than it was. Mm-hmm. And because then afterwards, I'm like,
well, there's two flashbacks. Because the first flashback is super short. It's like 2 minutes, but then the second flashback is like 20 minutes.
And that was one of the things that stuck in my head. And I remember I had in my head that it was like 45 minutes or something weird. Mm-hmm. But obviously, like time inflated, and it was like 20 years ago the movie came out. It's always inflated in my head, and I was watching. I'm like, no, that wasn't nearly as long as I thought I remember.
It was gonna be,
and actually I remember warmed up to this movie a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I definitely didn't like it as much as when I originally saw it, for sure. Yeah. And to be honest, I watched this with voiceover, and closed captioning on. Yeah. Both of them are on, which was slightly distracting because I could hear what they were saying and read what they were saying.
I know.
But reading what they were saying, it was a lot cut down compared to what they were saying. Yeah. Right. So it made me think about like how much is lost in translation when you're just watching the subtitles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and then initially when I first started watching it, I was the subtitles, and I switched to the dubs, and then the first like 10 minutes, I remember there was a couple things that was switched from the subtitles to that, so I'm like, I'm switching back to the subtitle like that, and like just like certain words and stuff, so I'm like, let's go back to the subtitles just to make sure I get most of.
No, but I think because the subtitles are very bland. Yeah. Like they're like the subtitles say hello, how are you, and what they would say was like, greetings, I haven't seen you for so long, and blah 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 blah. So the gist would be there, but it would just be wordier and like more. There was more depth to what they were saying in the dubs than in the subtitles.
Yeah, and one of the things with what made me laugh with this is like the name of the sword. Mm-hmm. It made me think it was like Green Destiny. Like it made me think that was like a good strain of weed name.
Green Destiny.
And then I was like thinking of Star Trek, and I'm like it'd be good like Orion stripper name. Mm-hmm. Like welcome back on the stage is Green Destiny, and like Cherry Pie is like her first like song or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
And then then the part where they pulls the sword up for the first time, it kind of glows green. Mm-hmm. Made me think of the sword that Bilbo gave Frodo, where it glows green. Blue. Yeah. Then I'm like, what does this do? Like when it's glowing green, they knows it like when the Hulk's mad and he's come by or something like that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But obviously because it's like the green dragon, or green dragon, or so.
Was it the Jade something?
No, the Jade. That was the lady's name. The Jade. I want to say not Tiger, but
the Jade Fox.
Jade Fox. Yeah.
Jade Fox.
Yeah. That was the older lady.
The lady's name, who killed a bunch of people and isn't very nice. Yeah. So, do you watch like a lot of like kick-up movies or anything?
I've watched a bit of the martial arts movies and stuff, but like, it's got like just because I don't like reading movies and stuff. I haven't watched like probably as much as I should. Mm-hmm. But
should is a strong word, but yeah.
The two other movies that really stuck out is Ong Bak and The Protector.
Oh, okay.
But I think they're more like Thai movies and a bit more.
Yeah.
Obviously, have just more martial arts than a story really to it. But not really a movie type of movie that I usually watch. But I remember really liking this movie.
Yeah, because this is more of like a spiritual love story thing that has a little bit of action in it.
Yeah, because it's Chow Yun-fat and
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Captain What's Your Face from Discovery. So I couldn't remember what her name was from the thing. Yeah, so it was a kind of love story that they kind of always knew each other, but never really said that they liked each other. And then
they've always known each other. They know they like each other, but she was promised to his best friend who died in battle, saving him.
Oh, no, that's
and
what
so
it was.
so they think that it would be. Dishonorable.
Oh no, that's what that was for. Okay, I must have missed that part. Yeah, I thought they were just because at the beginning when they first meet, the other guy was like, to the both of them silently, like, obviously you like each other, so we should get together. And I totally missed that part. Yeah.
No, she later talks about it and why she won't do anything.
Oh, okay, I was wondering that because I missed that part. So I was like, why did they do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then with the other one, Ziyi and the guy she's in the desert, and that was one thing I always thought was weird, like that, like he kidnaps her. They're in the cave, and he
doesn't technically kidnap her. He saves her life. Really.
Yeah. Then they're like fighting. They then all of a sudden they start kissing, and obviously it looks like they leads to sex. I'm like, I always see that in movies, but that doesn't happen in real life. I don't think. Like, you hate each other.
I'm happy to say that's never happened to me. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. So
but yeah, I always do find it kind of weird when they do that in a lot of films. Because it just doesn't seem appropriate. You know what I mean?
I guess you're kind of trying to hurry the pace of the movie and stuff, but that's something I always find that's a weird way to do it in the movie. Though, all of a sudden, like, I hate you, fighting you off, and all of a sudden they start kissing and they have sex.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
It's not right. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I think my biggest problem with this movie is that I like it. I don't like it as much as I used to, but it goes all over the place, right? Like, the story just seems like it didn't want to pick one storyline, so it just piled a bunch of stories together. And I know this is, according to the credits, which is the first time I noticed this is actually based on a book.
Really?
So maybe that was one of it. It's one of those, like, not just lost in translation from Cantonese to... Is it Cantonese? It's Cantonese, isn't it?
I think Cantonese is like the main one, the main language.
Oh no, Mandarin. Sorry, it's Mandarin.
Yeah, I always forget like what's like the main
language. Yeah,
and then because I know it's like then the other one's not as much. But I always forget.
So I don't know like with this like if it's stuff that just is lost in translation from Mandarin to English, or is it one of those things where it's like they took literary license and they were like, you know, from the book to the screen, and then on top of that, another translation if there's like something lost in there.
Yeah, maybe.
So like there's all like because this movie is a lot. Like there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of storylines that build on top of each other. There's a whole political thing. There's a flashback in the desert. There's the girl who doesn't want to get married, but she was also trained by the Jade Fox, who was who took a break. But was a master criminal and killed a bunch of people, and you know the story about a aging warrior and the love of his life who can't get together, and you know there are places in society and all this kind of and mysticism, and there's just a lot in there that they just didn't seem to pick an avenue to go in. So
that might have been one of the issues why it was taking me so long to watch this movie to get into it, because as I was telling you when I got here, it took me like 4 tries to watch this movie over the weekend. So that may have been what that didn't draw me in, because it was all over the place.
It's also very slow pace. Like it's a very metered pace that you have to like stick with. And then all of a sudden there's like an action sequence, and even like the fight sequences take a long time. Like they're long winded sequences.
Because they're doing like all the flying over the place and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With stuff like this, like when they're flying over the place, like I kind of don't like it unless there's like a reason that they can do it. Yeah. Because obviously like a lot of the fight choreography stuff was worked on the Matrix with Keanu.
Yes.
And in that movie it makes sense because they're in the Matrix and they can bend the laws of physics and all this stuff. So like when Lawrence Fisher was doing like the crane kick and all this crazy stuff, like the wire work stuff, but here this is supposed to be like, you know, real life.
Yeah, no, but it's supposed to also be based on the martial art that they know as well. Right?
So I think that may be part of the reason that kind of drew me out, because I like stuff to make sense sometimes.
Yeah.
And No, like I know it's supposed to be fantasy and just that you might go, but like there's never a thing why they could fly around so much.
Yeah.
So I saw that maybe why I didn't like it so
You're
much.
just like, I don't like how this looks.
But once I watch it again, I'm like, it didn't bother me as much this time.
Yeah.
So.
But I also think the way it's presented, like how they jump from building to building, is more. It's more like floaty. It's not even that they're flying. It's like they're floating across. Yeah. So it seems less real than in like the Matrix when they do it. There's more of like a weight to it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. They're jumping far, but they're like there's an arc to it. Like there's an up and a down. Whereas this is just like a straight line across. And you're like, that seems weird.
Yeah, like probably how physics you would think would work at least with that sort of thing. But with this, they're just kind of like just jumping over the place and just
things just seem to be missing.
So as I said, like I think that's maybe one of the main reasons why I didn't like it initially. Just because of that, and just because it was so long. And I was
visual, like besides the fight sequences, visually it's actually quite fantastic.
Yeah. That was one of the things with John. No, it's Ang Lee that does. I was going to say John Ridgway, but I was definitely not. But Ang Lee, because he did that. Did this, and the one of the movies that he did that gets shit on a lot is the Hulk. I
never watched that movie.
I can say it. Okay, I'll preface this. I like it. Not necessarily a good movie, but I really, really enjoy it.
But one of the things people hate about it is the pacing.
Yeah. So that didn't bother me as much in that movie, is because it was just kind of him kind of dealing with himself in his head as he's a Hulk and all that stuff, and that didn't bother me really much. But some of the visuals don't hold up. Yeah. He's like the Hulk is like fluorescent green. So every time I watch it, now I have that on Blu-ray.
So it's more like the visual effects don't hold up. But what do you think of like scene shots and stuff? Like, do you think it's like shot beautifully?
It was for the most part. I thought we're back on Crouching Tiger or the Hulk.
The Hulk.
I remember like in a good some of the editing stuff with it. They kind of made it kind of look like comic books. Had like a couple of the things in it, and you have to watch it to really for it to make sense. But
I really have to get around to it. But I think all of the years of people saying it sucks, don't look at it, it made me like I am good.
Yeah, as I said, I know it's not a good movie, but I can kind of see where he's going for it, and I enjoyed it, so I can differentiate sometimes. Yeah. Because obviously, if there's like some good movies that you don't like or something like that.
But then the Incredible Hulk came out, and that movie wasn't that good. I have to say, I definitely like the Hulk, the Ang Lee Hulk better. Than that one, yeah.
But as I said, just think of that. I'm not saying it's good. Why I like it.
Yes. That happens to me all the time.
And that's only two movies offhand that I can think that I've. I know the Gemini Man. I've seen two.
Which one?
The Will Smith movie that just came out with November.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's not bad. So the three movies that I've seen with him, he always has everything looks really well done and everything. So I think he has a good eye.
Oh, okay.
So and plus
let me see.
Yeah, it's where Will Smith is like an assassin, and then he finds out there's like a younger version of him or whatever, and he's trying to obviously.
And that's directed by Ang Lee as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he did Life of Pi. I've seen that.
And then I think the Sense and Sensibility too, or something, which I haven't seen. So I think those are only three movies that I can think of.
I saw that this summer actually, because they were showing it in the movies in the park. So nice. I saw that one. The Runner. I Love Chinese Food. Beat the Artist. I Wish I Was by That Dim Lake. All right. The Wedding Bouquet. Sure. Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. I've only seen half that movie. Sensibility, Ice Storm.
What was it?
Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. It's a foreign film. Yeah, it's, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Yeah, it's about a chef and his daughters.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's actually a critically acclaimed movie. What else? Yeah, so I've seen Life of Pi.
I think most of his movies that he's done has been...
Brokeback Mountain, yeah. So I've seen that one. That is him as well.
I've not seen that either.
Yeah. So and they're just beautiful movies.
Yeah. I remember seeing because I think Brokeback was won a bunch of stuff too.
It deserved it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I think the Hulk is probably the one off movie that he did, but again, I liked it.
He's like, I'm gonna try superheroes. We're done.
Yeah.
But that's like when Kenneth Branagh did the first Thor movie. People were just like, Kenneth Branagh, the Shakespearean like actor, serious man, and he did such a good job with it.
It kind of makes sense because like with the first Thor, it was all.
But like Thor, like I don't know, gods and all that kind of stuff is very theatrical. So it kind of makes some sense. Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't. Did he direct that Frankenstein movie that John De Niro was in, or was he just in it?
Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah, because I think he may have just been in it, but I think I'm not sure if he directed it as well.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because the one thing in that movie, did you ever end up seeing that one?
I don't think so.
It was like the only thing I really remember from the movie is like one part after he got chased away initially, like he found like some like little house.
He did direct Frankenstein.
He did it. Okay.
Yes, and that's with Robert De Niro. He did do that one.
Yeah, he was like hiding out and stuff, and then he found this house that like has like I think he might have been Kenneth Branagh in the movie too. Is like him and his wife, and it's like a really shoddy looking house. So like because it was obviously the 19th century in Europe or whatever. So like he was hanging out in like the wood shack part of the house.
Okay.
And with how the house is built, you can see into there from inside the house because it's not a well built house. And like, how did they not see him hanging out in there? Because then at one point, like how they found out, the family that found out he was there is because like the ground was frozen. They were trying to put out their farming,
clutter field and stuff.
And then they couldn't do it. And then the next morning because he was like super strong and didn't have like nerve endings to feel stuff, he pulled the light out and they were like, who the hell did this? And then later on found out, I'm like, he's like right through the wall. He can like, it's like pretty much like this microphone's like, I'm right here. How do you not know this guy's like living in this house?
But because it's art.
Yeah. But and I think that's the only reason why that stuck out, because it wasn't a good movie. Yeah.
I don't know. I've actually never seen that one. No.
I remember. I think it was like early 2000s when that came out.
It was. What did it say? 97. I just had it up here. I think it was like 97 or something.
So that's the only part of that movie. That was the only reason why I remember that movie.
94.
Wait, was it that early?
It was that early. Yeah.
I didn't think it was that early. Because I remember when that movie came out and stuff, because it was De Niro being Frankenstein. It was not his usual role, so it was like a big deal in the news and stuff. Yeah,
for me, I was just like, okay, and I walked the other way.
Because I imagine you're probably about the same age, so probably like early teens when it came out. So like 13, 14ish. So we were like,
this is not my cup of tea.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
So
I went to go like see Scream or something instead. That's fine.
Sounds about right. Yeah. So with Crouching Tiger, it's like they have the meeting where they're like, the dude's like, you should date her or whatever, go be with her, and then then Ziyi shows up. They try to steal the sword. Then
she actually successfully.
She does steal the sword.
Then, but the thing that gets her in trouble is that she tries to put it back after.
Because I think her mother was like, "What, are you young? You just want to prove that you can do it." And then they screwed her because of her, or not the mother, but the lady she was the Jade Fox or whatever.
Her like caretaker whatever. Well, because the whole point with Zhang Ziyi's character is that she was young, and she was going to be married to this man she had never met. And she was like, but she loved the stories of Chow young fat Chow's character. And like she longed to be like a fighter and to be free and all this kind of stuff. And at that point, you don't know she's trained. You don't know she's this like amazing warrior and stuff. You just know she's like a little girl, and you just think she's a little girl reading fantasy books and whatever. But then, as you get to know her, you realize, oh, that's why she just wants to be out there. She has like a passion. She wants to do something. Yeah,
she's trained all stuff and wants to do it.
And she doesn't want to be trapped by this creepy man that she doesn't know and whatever.
Being married off, because I think when she says that when she meets Michelle Yeoh for the first time, there's been whole stories and all this stuff. And it's
she's like, I want to be like you, and Michelle Yeoh, she's like, it's not like that.
It's not all cracked out to be, and like doing all this stuff where you all the stories of like you can't bathe for days and all this stuff. Is that in the stories, or is something to that effect?
Yeah. Well, because even after she runs away, after she gets married, she goes out there, fights all these people, then goes to Michelle Yeoh's temple, and is just like, I just need a bath. I just need to be taken care of for a minute. And she does, and then they butt heads, and then they have their fight, right? Which I think is a great fight sequence, by the way. It's so good. And it also showed how Michelle Yeoh's character is like proficient in all of the weaponry, and this girl is only kind of proficient with the sword, and she's only good because of the sword.
Yeah, because I think Chow said earlier, it's pretty much the fact that it's like the sword without anything, without practice or anything. It's just a sword and all this stuff.
Well, yeah, because all she was doing was cutting through Michelle Yeoh's weapons, and she was just like, well, now I have to try something else. Yeah. But as soon as she had, what is the super heavy metal sticks that she had, she was going down, but then it finally made its way through it, and then she's like, crap.
Yeah, and that is very funny, is that the one she tried to pick up was running across the room, then it was too heavy for her, and she fell back. Like, I fucking had to go with something.
She's like, forget it, I'll get something else. Yes.
Yeah, because I'd probably try the same thing too, and I'm maybe look big, but I'm not really strong, so I'd probably do the exact same thing, or I probably wouldn't make it as far as she did, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing, right? With a sword whipping around like that, that's... But
going back to it, I kind of like the fight scenes more than I did, even though it's kind of like the physics don't really work, and especially then at the end where they're like on the top of the treetops and stuff, look really cool. But
I actually thought that part aged really badly, because I remember when it came out, I thought that was like the coolest sequence.
Because I think when they were showing stuff and saying like all the fight scenes, I think that's what they showed the most was when they were flying around
in the like the bamboos, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I think the best fight sequence is the sequence between Zhang Ziyi and Michelle Yeoh. That's my favorite fight of the whole movie.
It was really good.
But I also think it's because they're on the ground while they're fighting. They're not. It's not
they're not any like crazy flippy stuff. And
it's just like direct. I'm whipping like these instruments around, and I'm gonna take you down. Just like a straight fight.
A bit more realistic than the other stuff.
So you would not recommend this one?
Well, if you're like me who has a really bad attention span, then don't watch the movie. But it's actually at least worth a watch. I would say.
Yeah. It's just a little too slow for you.
So it's just something. I'm just being a piece of shit. Doesn't like to read as a watching movies. So so I put that aside. It's not bad if you like a love story with some fighting. That's what it is. Some wirework fighty stuff.
There's some deep stuff in there. Yeah. Like there's a lot of like internal retrospective and like what makes you a good person, what makes you a bad person. Why the different like levels of society. Because Michelle Yeoh's character, she's not considered a worthy woman, really. Whereas Zhang Ziyi's character, because she's a daughter of like a governor or something, she's of esteem, but she's also used like a pawn, just kind of shuffled around.
That's why like a lot of the stuff like that, they get married off just for political esteem instead of actually loving the people and stuff. I really never like that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, like it does show a few things and. Should you marry for love or status or, how people below you look up to you for a certain status level and the other way around, people above you can look down on you because of your simplicity of your life and all that kind of thing.
Because of Jade Fox, because I said to her a few times that something to the effect of disrespecting the family by going out and stealing the sword and all this stuff, I think.
Yeah. But there was also the whole thing about how, one of the reasons why Jade Fox was so angry and killed his master was because she went to get trained and his master was like, I don't train women, get out. But then would sleep with her like she's a prostitute, that kind of thing as well.
Let me sleep with you, you won't train me to fight sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing with her and Ziyi, that she could read. Like Jade... What do I say, Jade Fox or Jade Monkey?
No, it's Jade Fox.
Yeah, Jade Fox. It's like I saw the diagrams, but Zhang Ziyi actually could read and did all the stuff, and so if they're both together, they were learning everything. But I think there's kind of showing that there are two parts.
There's two parts to it.
Of what the whatever fighting style that they were doing.
Yeah. But it also shows that she could have been a better person if somebody just gave her a chance and let her learn and do stuff she wanted to do.
Which Chow does at the beginning, which I always thought was weird too. It's like first time he sees her after stealing the sword is like, keep the sword, but I'll train you instead so you can have some focus. But why don't you do that after, this is a big time sword you've had all your life, and you gave it to you're gifting to that other guy.
He gave it up, but he saw a student that's worth teaching.
I guess, I just saw the better in there. Just
it's one of those like, you're not a bad person. You're bad because of society. It's like one of those things.
Yeah, but I found it was a little too early. It was just like though, because like that was like right when he first met her. It was like pretty much almost
but the thing is, he fought her. And
I guess
knowing a person.
Yeah, you don't know him until you fight him, sort of thing. Yeah. I guess.
Well, I think my problem is like I pull these kind of things out of the movies because I did watch a lot of these like kung fu movies and kick-ups and stuff when I was young. Yeah. So like little notes like that, I'm like, it's just this, and it's just that.
Yeah, so I guess I'm guessing a little too Western in this whole thing. It's like that doesn't make sense.
You're like, it's too soon. But I'm like, no, they fought each other. Of course they know each other. Okay. It's like they're brothers now.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So looking at it that way, totally makes sense. But if it was like, or if they fought a little longer, it was like a couple sword swings, and they're like, hey, let me train you.
Well, there was a couple. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, when they mean, it was definitely like kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if like if they fought like if there was like a 30-second fight scene and then he was like that, maybe maybe liked it a bit better. Yeah, but that part felt way.
But also he was actually fighting someone else. Saw her fight, then went to her, and then they fought a little bit, and that's when he was just like. You need discipline.
Okay.
So maybe it's like an observation thing, so whatever. And then also Michelle Yeoh before that was like, because she fought her on the rooftops the night before.
Yeah. When she
and was like this person. Why do I remember Wuhan? How do I remember that?
Oh yeah, Wuhan. Yes.
Yeah. They're like, she obviously was trained by Wuhan. Blah blah blah. So I was like, so maybe that conversation made him kind of quicker. Because he automatically thinks it's like maybe a student of his master or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
Well,
yeah, because she does the one move and she's like, "How'd you know that?" And she says something and then takes out because she does like that.
Yes, and did like the flip backwards or something.
Like how you know that move and something like that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I don't know. But I think I liked the movie. I must admit, I did find it a little slow.
Yeah.
Compared to like other films and stuff that I've watched. But overall I liked it. I think it aged relatively well.
Yeah.
And it's actually still kind of poignant in a way, So I think it works.
Yeah. So I said it's one of those things, if you haven't seen it, definitely
have a look at it.
Yeah, definitely want to at least watch it once.
Mm-hmm.
So movies, definitely,
yeah.
Because both Chow and Zhang, that was probably their first introduction for American audience, I think, because I think he came. I think the movie in there earlier with Blonde Girl or something, or something like that, or something. It might have been like.
I think he did the Ice Storm earlier.
No, not that. It's Replacement Killers.
No, we didn't direct Replacement Killers.
No, I know. I think I know. Chow Fat was in.
Oh, in Replacement Killers. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because I think it was definitely Ziyi was at this, and then she was in Rush Hour 2 and stuff. So it was probably the first time. I was going to say the first time that both of them at Western audiences probably saw them. I think Chow Fat had been a couple of movies.
Yeah, Chow Fat that was 1998. So yeah, it was a couple years before this. So that was probably his like North American introduction.
Yeah.
He was in a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I didn't realize that.
I think one of the later ones. Yeah, I think.
I did not know that.
Now that you mentioned it, I remember kind of his character kind of flashes up in a second. But
he did Anna and the King as well. I did not watch that one, but he did.
Oh yeah, and do you see that one with Ziyi came out like last year, the year before? That was the kind of like one of the Cloverfield movies that like they kind of purchased and kind of added a scene at the end to kind of work it into the Cloverfield universe, where like.
Was that the one with the space station?
Yeah, space station is.
Was that her in that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that she's like at the end and it fills with water, then the other side opens.
Yes.
Because of space is cold, it like flash freezes her.
Yes.
Yeah, like she was like, because I was like, I was bored one night and they were like, Cloverfield. I'm like, what the hell? Because I remember seeing the first one in the theater.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I saw it, I'm like, it's her.
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously not saying to be a dick, but she looks super young in this movie. Mm-hmm. She's obviously aged, but yeah, it's definitely, I'm like, Susan, so I'm like, yep, that's her.
I didn't realize it was her, not at all. Interesting. But yeah, no, I think she's great. Yeah,
because I'll think of her in Rush Hour 2, just being like the angry face and just like yelling all the time. Yeah, because at that point she wasn't speaking English yet. So
that's right. Yeah, she was just yelling.
Yeah, that like the cute angry face and this. I don't know why, but obviously because I'm a dude, that's stuck out. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, out of these two movies, I mean, they were both pretty good.
Yeah, definitely Constantine. It holds up. If you're going with the hype when it came out, don't listen to it because some people will like it shit because there's in the fuck Keanu air quotes the fuck Keanu stage. Yeah, but actually it's worth checking out. And for sure. And the one thing it doesn't look like Sting, so they just take that probably. So if you're a big comic book, just take that out. And it's actually decent.
It's pretty decent. Yeah,
worth checking out.
Yeah, I actually like I said, I like both of these movies, but I kind of agree with you. I think Constantine holds up.
Definitely. Yeah. And as I said, it took me 4 or 5 times to watch, and not to just the movie, it's me.
Yeah.
So.
But if you like foreign movies, definitely have a look at it. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely check it out.
Well, thank you for being here, Adam.
No, thanks for having me again.
Yes, this was good. So until our next episode, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf. Or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about a weird combination of movies, Curious George and Dark City. Wow. Yeah. I mean, this is what happens when you go alphabetical. It just kind of happens that way.
Is it Very Curious George? Is that Brendan Fraser in it?
No, it's...
I'm thinking George of the Jungle. Shit, never mind.
No, it's the animated one. It's got, I think it's Drew Barrymore and Will Ferrell, I think, are the voices, the main voices in it.
I don't know this movie. I'll have to watch this.
It's great. I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah. Hope you'll be here to listen.